A restaurant builds community, but not only builds community, a restaurant or our restaurants forms families. Many of the people here that work for us, we treat them as family and we become their second family. Whether they're here from another country or whether they're living here, whatever the situation is, we embrace them as a family. And before we see the waiter, we see Juan. Before we see the cook, we see Memo, we see Nelson, we see the person. Because we've been there, done that. And both Leo and I have worked for people and for restaurants. And, for us it was very important that our culture in our restaurant build that family. Hi, my name is Teresa Razo and I'm Leo's wife. Leo and I met at my 15th birthday, which is a big celebration in Mexico. It's a quinceañera, and that's where we formally met and started a friendship there. The first day I saw him, I knew he had a big heart, and that's what truly just attracted me, just knowing his values and his heart. And then we didn't see each other for almost a whole year until again, God put us together here in the United States when he was visiting, or he came to visit his brother and then actually ended up staying. We just started again as friends and going out, and just really put us together as humans. And we come from different opposite places, cultures, traditions, but I always had that ingrained, the Mexican culture ingrained in myself, even if I was born here in the States, because my parents would take me every single summer to Jalisco. And my dad would take me all over, all the ranchos, all the pueblos, with the people, and I loved it. And, all that stayed with me. And I believe, the Mexican culture is in me. So I felt like close to him, and I just felt his heart. I kind of felt like, it's that person that I would probably never would see again, that person that is unique. But I just also had a feeling at that time that we were some opposite worlds, that we probably won't be together. But, God took care of it, and here we are. We're about to celebrate 25 years of marriage.
Hola, ¿qué tal? Yo soy Guillermo Ochoa, trabajo en Villarroma en la posición de peltri, hago postres, ensaladas, y esto es lo que hago yo. Ahora sí que estando en el campo de batalla como compañero, siendo el chef como mi jefe y mi supervisor, 4 años. El haber venido trabajando aquí con Villarroma, yo creo que me ha hecho muy bien en todos los sentidos. Yo vine prácticamente con problemas personales en cuestión de consumos y ahora sí que alcohol y drogas. Para mi vida, Villarroma es un punto de referencia en el cual el haber ingresado ayudó para todo este proceso por el cual yo me desintoxiqué de todas las sustancias. Y haber conocido a Leo, y yo creo que el saber las cosas que hace y el por qué, eso me ha ayudado bastante en lo que para mí representa Villarroma. Yo creo que él siempre tiene historias que contar, y a mí me encanta escucharlo y que me cuente una anécdota tras otra. Entonces yo creo que esas historias a mí también me ayudó para mí el hacer mi propia historia de forma individual, porque es un proceso. Entonces, y como yo soy una persona que ama los procesos, Villarroma para mí es un punto referente en mi historia por el cual me ayudó a tener mejor desarrollo, porque tanto en lo individual, en lo personal, en lo social y en lo familiar, que ha sido mucho avance en mi vida. Entonces es muy grato trabajar aquí con Villarroma.
You know, we do things differently. And a lot of people would say, you know, if you would not do things in the community, you'd probably have 2 or 3 restaurants now. Maybe. But guess what? That doesn't make us happy. We're happy where we are, we're happy what we do, and it just fills our heart. I've always believed that nobody should go hungry. Nobody should go to bed hungry. There was a point in my life where I had to do that, and I just realized that nobody should do that. Nobody should have to go through that, regardless who you are, where you're from, what color, what race, where you live. That's not the point. We're all human beings, and food is so important that it's energy, and it's the energy among the community. So I just believe that, you know, nobody should go hungry, and especially children and elderly. For me, are really important because they're vulnerable. They depend on you. After being a mother, especially after being a mother, I mean, I can go hungry, but I would never want to see my kids face that.
Hello, I'm Luis Razo, and my parents are Leo and Teresa Razo. I think one of the most simple lessons I think I've ever learned from my parents is to be humble. That maybe you have something and other people don't, and that's okay, but you have to know how to share your blessings with others. One of the most universal truths that any human can agree upon is that any situation can be solved with a good plate of food. Not only can a good plate of food fill you up and make you feel joy, but it can also bring people together under one roof to talk about new ideas and how to communicate with each other and to be better people.
I was born here in California. Both of my parents are from Jalisco, Mexico, immigrants. Both of them hard workers. My dad was a pioneer and a very important person for me and showed me how to give. For him, it's all about giving. I remember he would always do kind of like a little feast and have food and give out all the stuff that we would take down to Mexico. So I grew up with those values of giving, and for me it's very natural because people, it's what you have. It's the biggest asset that God has given us in this world. So you just need to take care of each other. And my dad taught me that and really put it in me, while my mom was the strong person in the family, and she was like, never give up, pretty much. So there's a beautiful phrase in Mexico, in the Mexican culture, say, para atrás ni para agarrar impulso, which means that don't even take 1 or 2 steps back, not even if it gives you more room to go forward. So, thinking about it, who I am, it's a combination of them both.
Ibas por una cuchara y saliste con un cazuelón, hijo de la jodida.
What I want most for my children, number one, for them to be happy. It's very important for them to be happy and to be them, to not pretend. And something that I would love to leave for them would be to continue making a difference, but never forget to be happy. A lot of people say, let's try to work on this world and leave this world or make it a better world for our kids. I believe a little bit different. I want to leave better kids for this world.
Se ve linda.
Mi nombre es Razo, como ya lo citó. Yo nací en La Barca, Jalisco, así es de que llevo canica en el corazón, pues muy cerca. Yo cocino, siempre estoy haciendo cosas, pero aprendí a cocinar no solamente por cocinar. Cada vez que hago un plato, trato de hacerlo con el corazón y siempre tratando de alimentar las almas. Siempre tratando de alimentar por dentro. No que te llene el estómago por el día de hoy, sino que te lleves algo a cambio. Entonces viajo mucho, siempre voy por varios países, voy a cualquier lado y siempre trato de llevar canica conmigo, siempre va. Y también llevar lo que hacemos nosotros, que es paella con propósito, siempre haciendo comida para las personas que más necesitan y siempre tratando de ayudar y hacer un cambiecito, aunque sea pequeño, en la vida de los demás. Entonces, desde que gracias por darnos la oportunidad de estar acá. Paella tiene un gran propósito. La paella, primeramente, tiene que ser muy balanceada, tiene que estar nivelada. Si hay más agua de un lado que de otro, se va a quemar de un lado y de otro lado va a quedar crudo. O sea, tiene que ser todo muy nivelado. Las calificaciones de paella es que en la parte de arriba, creo que ahora la van a poder ver, tiene que ser igualmente como si fuera una pizza exactamente, que el que está, porque la paella se come en la mesa, se pone de ahí y de ahí se come. Entonces, lo mismo que hay de un lado tiene que haber del otro. Todas esas partes me llevaron a mí a pensar que lo que la vida debería darnos a todas sus oportunidades es exactamente lo que la paella necesita y requiere. Que todos tengamos las mismas oportunidades, que todo sea igual de balanceado para todos. Y sé que a veces es muy complicado porque unos tenemos que pelear batallas que otros ni siquiera se dan cuenta que están pasando. Pero bueno, con eso vamos a hacer un cambiecito y tratar de que ustedes lo puedan disfrutar un poco y que bueno, ojalá que la paella de hoy también les guste, les agrade y que pueda hacer un cambio en su alma, que pueda hacer un cambio diferente. Muchas gracias y bueno, está lista para todos.
Hola, mi nombre es Razo, soy el chef ejecutivo de Villarroma Restaurante y Cambalache. Soy padre, soy hijo y soy esposo. Living here in my little town in La Barca and work on those fields. So I started working, maybe I was 14 years old. And so I always want to do something different. And I always thinking the way that I can change things on lives and different people and even my family. So, of course, United States always the point that everybody focus.
Even the smell is...
But I think the main point is I want to kind of improve my life. I want to do something different. And that way I can do something different with people here too. My first years living in the United States was a little complicated. I was kind of living there, working there, but I was thinking, to go back and coming back to see my family, to live around what we left behind. Then we started dating with Teresa, and everything changed. I mean, then you have a different perspective, the way that you want to go. So then after I met Teresa and we started dating, and we were already start I was thinking a different way. And I know by that time that I want to stay in the United States. Life really changed when I met Teresa because she have a different point of view than normally I have. Whatever I want to do, she's always next to me, pushing and helping and always trying to make my life a little better. I remember I was working like a dishwasher, laving pans, washing pans and kind of cleaning all the dishes. And I always thinking I think it's nice to have your own place because the only way I can continue or try to help others is to be on top of the whole thing. We found the place and I called Teresa and I asked her, hey, what about if we open a restaurant? Well, first of all, we want to open the market and deli that we have. So she is like, oh, that's fine. I mean, do whatever you want and I help you. So we found Villarroma and we have the name, we have the whole thing. When I used to start making those kind of helping or try to help his families, I tried to push with my family. I wanted to be involved because they can do it. I mean, I know they have time, they have the resources, and they know these people that really need it. So I can do it by myself. I mean, I don't live around, so it's difficult to know these people and very deep. So that's why my sister get involved and my family at the end. So one is carrying tomatoes, the other one is carrying the beans or whatever we need. So we pull together and that way we can do it faster and easier.
So my name is Elizabeth Gomez. I work at Villarroma as a hostess, cashier, and I help manage the floor. And I am also Leon Teresa's niece. I think that the first event that I recall, also for charity-wise, was Canica USA, because I was working at Villarroma then, and we would do the gala. I think it was the first gala that we did. And at one point, we had all these kids come in from Canica, and just seeing these kids, from, different parts of Mexico come through and what they were experiencing was just seeing the smile on their face and just knowing that, that there's a smile also, because Lil gets to share his food with them and just see, these kids that maybe it's their last wish and, some don't make it, was something that impacted me. I think that's why I'm still at Villa Roma till this day, kind of trying to see what I could do to help them and be part of it. I go to Mexico often to where Leo's from. I know a lot of these families from just, seeing them, not personally, but a lot of them just by seeing them walking down the street or whatever. There's one family that, they're right next door to my parents' house. So that was someone that I knew. I was like, that's someone that needs it. We, gave some names out too. And that's how kind of all started with the dispensas. And just hearing stories from the family who's there and seeing this person is really happy that they're going to get their dispensas or however it is. There's people that say, oh, Thursday is at whatever time they're going to come. And they're just waiting for it. So that was something that I'm like, I want to do that. I want to be there and see. Because it's different just hearing about it, but just seeing them and seeing maybe being able to go inside, talk to them or see how they're actually living. I feel like that's something that I wanted to do. And, even being able to do that a few months ago, I think that it impacted me differently. The case that stood out to me most and, kind of sticks with me is the lady who she only had, she had her arm halfway, but so she didn't have one arm. And just hearing their story that they wanted to do a lot. Their house was basically just one bedroom. They had kitties and everything. And she would mention oh, my husband wants to have, more animals that we can benefit from. She's like, but it's a lot of money. Yeah, so I think that, kind of going into it, I didn't know what to expect. Yeah, I knew what we were doing, but it wasn't I thought we were just gonna walk up to them, kind of give it to them, but it was walking inside and then just kind of seeing everyone's faces and listening to their stories. I remember we kind of took a few minutes to talk to them a little bit. Kind of in each household, we tried to speak to them. So it was more to just giving. It was also kind of listening to them. That was kind of something different that I didn't expect. I think that with what they're doing, helping a lot of people, but bringing a smile to a lot of people's faces at the same time. I think that overall, what they do is, people might say time consuming, and it's a lot. Like you mentioned, running two businesses, their family, making time for their family and everything. But to them, they love it.
After working, in the United States a few years, and then I have the opportunity to apply to be legal, for documents. And I know by that time that I don't want to go back to my country. I don't want to go back to Mexico. I don't want to go back to live here. I don't know if it's going to happen in the future. I don't know what's going to happen. But, I want to be there. I want to be there in the United States the rest of my life. It's a fabulous country. I can do whatever I want, and those things that I changed in lives, not here. The things that I changing with the shelters, in Africa with the work that we do here with the dispensas, whatever we do, that happens over there, and the only way I can continue doing is living there. So, and then at some point, I have my U.S. citizenship, and then everything changed. It's like, it's like the last thing you do to be legal, to be free, and then continue doing all those things for the rest of the families that we help. Algo que es muy importante es nunca olvidarse de las personas que lo necesitan. Siempre hay algo, creo que uno se enfoca mucho en ver la visión, siempre es a una sola dirección y te olvidas de lo que está pasando alrededor. Yo aprendí mucho a ir un poco más despacio y poder ver las cosas de una amplitud mayor. Y creo que es donde fui descubriendo que hay gente que lo necesita y gente que puede ayudar. En algunas ocasiones, la forma más importante es seguir empujando hacia adelante, tratar de ayudando a los que más lo necesitan. Y no necesitan necesariamente, no se ocupa tanto. Hay gente que necesita muy poquito para cambiar su vida y que lo pueda hacer felices. Hay que estar ahí viendo siempre las necesidades de los demás. Y como siempre se dice, ¿no? Para atrás ni para tomar impulso.
It's been a journey of communication on all aspects, business, personal, but it's a journey of love, and it's a journey of knowledge and impact and community. Not only am I thankful for him for changing my life, I'm also, I say how proud I am of him for changing so many lives in this world, and for changing his life and really embracing everything that came to him. Many moments that he had to sacrifice, many hours that he had to work, and just want to tell him that we're very proud of him and that we wouldn't have had a better dad or a better husband in our family. And we're just extremely proud of all his accomplishments and for being such an amazing human being and for having such an amazing heart of giving. And my last words would be, we're very proud of you, Leo. That's it. You can put it together.
Oh, of course.
That's your job.
Of course. That was beautiful.
The story begins when this person who was homeless, nothing to eat, and had nothing else than just a rock with him. So what he did is knock on the door and asked the lady and said, I need your help. And the lady said, no, sorry, close the door. Continue knocking the doors until one door opened. And he said, all I want is for you to help me to make a soup with this rock. And it's so delicious. I'll share it with you. But all I need is a pan and water and where to put it, a burner. And the lady said, a rock soup? So she said, come in, let's do it. So he put the rock, he put the water, boiling water. He tried the water and he said, oh, it's so delicious, but it needs a little bit of salt. And the lady said, okay, I'll go get some salt. I have some. Put in the salt. Oh, it's really good, but it would be so much better if we put carrots in it. And she said, I don't have carrots, but hold on. Let me go see if my neighbor has carrots. So to make it short, one neighbor brought potatoes, carrots, this, that. At the end, everybody sat with a little bowl of soup and enjoyed this beautiful soup, the rock soup. It all started with a little rock. What it means, it's the power of unity. It's when we come together. I might not have everything, but if you help me with whatever I'm missing, we can make impact in others.